Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Naruto Shippuden episode 315. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out we're still in the flashback, and we get to see how Yoda meets Naruto, so that was definitely an emotional build-up in my opinion. However, moving on past that, we get to see Naruto as well as everyone else around him play a game of kick the can. Really? Kick the can? Okay, they're kids, I get it. But kick the can? After they're done playing Kick the Can, we see Yoda kind of wandering off, and he gets caught by the Anbu Black Ops. I shit you not. And again, that's where the episode ends, and all my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Naruto and Yoda in the present, and they're fighting back and forth. Nothing too particular worth mentioning beyond that, of course. But their fight was interrupted by Sakura telepathically. So we see Sakura, and she's talking to Naruto telepathically, and then everyone else is talking with each other telepathically. And Naruto kind of leaks out that, although he's fighting the real Yoda, everyone else is fighting copies of the White Zetsui. So now it's starting to make sense, and Naruto takes it upon himself to tell everyone else, I'm going to take this all in, kill the copies of Yoda, and I'll deal with the real Yoda. I mean, that's definitely very meaningful, but that's also a nightmare. You're technically fighting a reanimated shinobi, or in this case, a friend from your past or childhood, and you want it all on yourself. You want to deal with it that way? Wow, that's definitely messed up in my opinion. But again, that's where we open up with. Moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with everyone else in general. Shikamaru, Choji, Neji. Well, not so much as Neji, but Ino and everyone else along that line. And they're taking out all of the copies of Yoda, or should I say the White Zetsui. So now they're picking off them one by one. It's no surprise there. It went by pretty quick, so, no cutscenes. It just was cut and dry that they were defeated. Now we are taken back to the flashback of how Choji and Shikamaru approach Naruto at his apartment when they're trying to find Yoda. And again, we are in the flashback on how Yoda disappeared, how the Anbu Black Ops took Yoda, because we still don't know what really happened. So we see Shikamaru, we see Choji, they enter Naruto's apartment, and they're trying to come up with a plan to get Yoda back. Definitely worth mentioning. Now Sakura and everyone else are outside of Naruto's apartment, and they're waiting for the go-ahead to see if Naruto's going to help them or not. Now, if you remember correctly, in the original TV series of Naruto didn't have any friends. So you're wondering, how is he having all these friends in his childhood, and yet in the original TV series, he didn't have any friends? So there's a little scratch on the head here of like, so wait, he was friends with Shikamaru, Choji, and everyone else as a child? This was the climactic build-up? He did have friends? I'll get to that later on how and why, if you catch my drift. Now, moving on past that, after we see Choji and Shikamaru come up with an interesting plan with Naruto, we're taken to a little cutscene with Yoda. And again, we are still in the flashback, we're not in the present. Now, remember, he was taken by the Anbu Black Ops. Apparently, he's being interrogated. Well, if you think about it, Yoda isn't part of the Leaf Village, so of course, he's an outsider. Although it's a little drastic on how the Anbu Black Ops take Yoda in and interrogate him. I mean, he's just a kid. What is he really capable of doing? Maybe there's a catch. Maybe the Anbu Black Ops know something we don't know. And of course, there is something they know that we don't know. But I'll get to that also in a little bit. Now, moving on past that, we are taking to a little cutscene with Naruto. And apparently he's acting as the decoy. This was the big plan, I guess, he had with Choji, Shikamaru, and everyone else. He was going to deface the monuments outside of the Leaf Village. It's that monument with all the Hokages that are up there. Yeah, I guess he was just defacing the monument just to grab the Anbu Black Ops' attention, among other things. So he's just going to create a big distraction. Now, if you remember correctly, in the previous Naruto TV series, when he was defacing the monument, we assume it's because of attention, because he had a shitty childhood. No, in this episode, it actually defines Naruto as doing the right thing, creating a distraction so his friends can save Yoda. That is definitely interesting. I did not know that. So now it's starting to make sense. So maybe he's not the same Naruto we knew from the past, from the previous TV series. I mean, this is kind of reshaping him in a different light. Apparently, Naruto never really was out there trying to grab attention. Instead, he was helping his friends. Again, I didn't see this really coming. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with Shikamaru. He finds Yoda. So after Naruto, distracts everyone, we see Shikamaru, Choji, and everyone else kind of sneaking into the Anbu Black Ops little office, I guess, where they're interrogating Yoda, and Shikamaru notices Yoda's being held captive and he's being interrogated, and he uses his shadow jutsu on the Anbu Black Ops and catches the Anbu Black Ops kind of off guard, which is kind of weird because if you think about it, the Anbu Black Ops member are technically all Jonin, so to be caught off guard by a mere kid is kind of weird. But there is a catch. Although it looks like Shikamaru has won, he has nullified the Anbu Black Ops, it's not what it appears because the lights go on and the shadows, well technically Shikamaru's shadows go away and the Anbu Black Ops are now in full swing. They're about to take out the kids because apparently within the Anbu Black Ops they have like a motto or something. If you mess with the Anbu Black Ops or if you mess with the Leaf Village in general, then you're an enemy to the state, I guess, or the enemy to the Leaf Village, so you have to be taken out. So now Shikamaru and everyone with him are now considered the enemy of the Leaf Village, which I thought, what? They're just kids. This makes no sense. But out of nowhere, Naruto does appear, and he's trying to protect Yoda. And again, it was definitely an emotional build-up. However, Yoda, he's taking all of this in. He starts not crying, but he's getting mad. He's getting irritated. And again, we see what appears to be a snake appear, like in the form of Orochimaru, like the snakes that are usually with Orochimaru. But we don't really get a large cutscene of that. It's just cut and dry. And again, Yoda's getting all mad. And he's using some random technique to eliminate the Anbu Black Ops, because at the end result, after he's done using this random technique, which doesn't have a name by the way, everyone escapes. So I guess it worked out good for everyone, because Yoda, Shikamaru, everyone else has now escaped the Anbu Black Ops. Definitely worth mentioning, but moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with the river. I call it the river scene because it's kind of emotional but really dramatic, because we see Shikamaru, Naruto, and everyone else with Yoda crossing the river. However, they drown because apparently they can't swim that well, or the water was just that bad. Because it was an emotional scene because we see Naruto being carried off, Shikamaru being carried off, and apparently Naruto goes after Yoda, which apparently can't swim, or he is drowning. Yoda saves Naruto, Naruto saves Yoda. You know, that little cutscene. Now, surprisingly, the end result, Yoda dies. He passes away, but it's not what it appears. Yoda doesn't really die, but I'll get to that in a bit. But just before Yoda dies, we see Naruto and everyone else right above Yoda, and I guess they're talking to Yoda for the last time. And it's definitely dramatic. Everyone's about a little teary-eyed, a little crying here and there. And Yoda, out of nowhere, he says, "This has been a great time. I'm glad you're my friends." And he uses a random technique which doesn't have a name. He just uses a random technique, and he makes everyone forget that he even existed before he passes away. So Yoda passes away, he erases his memory from everyone's minds, and he just vanishes. And I was like, what? He can do that? Why didn't he use that technique when the Anbu Black Ops captured him? I'm sorry, was that just me? That made no sense. But it will in a bit. Now, after Yoda, passes away, and he's now erased himself from everyone's mind, we're taken to a little cutscene in the present. We're no longer in the flashback. Now we're in the present, and we open up with Yoda, the real Yoda, fighting Naruto, of course, and he's talking to Naruto through whistling. Okay, so there's no Morse code, there's no, dot, 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 there's no sign language. Yoda's using the whistling method that Naruto taught him to talk to him. I thought, wait, why don't you just talk to him telepathically? But the only reason why Yoda's talking to Naruto through whistles is so that Kabuto can't hear what they're talking about, so it kind of makes sense. Now, apparently, Yoda's telling Naruto, "Thank you for being my friend. I haven't forgotten what you did to me in the past, Everything's good. We're good." But it's being pointed out that apparently Yoda in the past was a reanimated shinobi, and you're like, what? So Yoda was already dead to begin with in the past? Apparently Orochimaru was the one that reanimated Yoda in the past. And Yoda, he didn't even die in the past. That's the thing. When Yoda drowned, he didn't drown. He erased his mind, he erased his memories from Naruto and everyone else's mind, per se, before fakely dying, and then he was reanimated. So this is getting really interesting, to be honest, because if Orochimaru did this to Yoda, I'm wondering who else he did this to in the past, but hopefully we'll find out soon. But this is definitely getting interesting. Now, after Yoda kind of tells Naruto the whole spiel and everyone else now knows everything, and they're starting to remember who Yoda really is, it's starting to lead up to how Yoda's going to now die. Now, you would assume that Yoda is going to be sealed since he's a reanimated shinobi. Still, no, apparently Yoda eliminates himself. He uses his own jutsu on himself, like he starts freezing his body up, and then he obliterates himself, and he's dead. Kabuto is stunned, Naruto is stunned, and it's definitely, again, emotional, a dramatic build-up. And that's where the episode ends. As for my final thoughts, okay, well, not a lot, but Yoda's dead, who the hell cares? But what about Kabuto? What is Kabuto's next move now that your weather user is now technically dead, permanently in this case? What else you got? Now, where is Itachi? That's a better question. Where is Itachi right now? He said he was going to help the front lines, help everyone in his own way. Please, please, tell us how you're going to do this, because I'm getting bored out of my mind on what's going to happen next. All these goddamn, flashback episodes are kind of a set-off, you know? And that ends it for my final thoughts. Nothing special. I'm not even going to try to be special there. I mean, this really wasn't a decent episode in my opinion. Now, moving on past that to my final thoughts, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. The reason why I'm giving this a 3 out of 5 instead of a 2.5 out of 5, I said this like 5 or 6 times, maybe less than that. This was definitely an emotional episode, very dramatic, but that was it. There really was no fighting. It was more or less an informative episode about Naruto's past, Yoda's past, and mostly how Naruto meets everyone and how he's been forced to forget about everything thanks to Yoda erasing his memories from everyone's minds. And this also shines a little light on Naruto's character in general from the previous Naruto TV series. Because if you remember correctly, I brought this up before, in the previous Naruto anime series, Naruto defaces the monuments which are outside the Leaf Village, which are of the Hokages, you know, those rock statues that are outside per se. And he defaces them for attention, or at least that's what it was made out to be in the previous TV series. But when it was explained in this episode how he didn't do it for attention, he did it to help a friend, it kind of sheds a little light on Naruto's real character, on how he never really wanted the attention. He was already content on how or what he already was, or who he was. He was just lonely. So, again, I love the fact that we have a little more information on Naruto and his childhood. And again, final rating, 3 out of 5, nothing special there. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Naruto Shippuden episode 315. Definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now, and I gotta hit the bricks, and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.